Hello everyone. So welcome back to our channel. In today's session, we are going to learn on API management services. So in the previous session, we have learned how to create the Azure account with Gmail ID by passing your credentials, credit card credentials. So today and last time we also checked the look and feel of the Azure portal, how it looks and what are all the services available in the Azure. So today we are going to learn on Mm, Today we are going to learn on API management services. So to get started with API management services, so we will be checking in all services. If we go down, we will be having integration. Here we can select API management services. Either we can write here API management services to open. So just click on the API management services. Once we click on it, it will ask us to create one API management service. So what are all the services we will be creating that will be hosted in the API management. So to get started, we need to click on create. Once we click on it, so we will have subscription and resource group. So subscription is our free trial, which will be of 1 month period, and later it will be costing us around as we use the services. So this is like pay as you go subscription, like how many services you will be using, that much money you need to pay. So now we are using for free trial, so we will be looking into it as a free trial. So resource group, what is resource group? So what are all the services that we will be creating? It will be inside one resource group, so it will use like a container. If you want a clear explanation, then how it goes is like, so here we will have resource group. Inside this, we will have resources. So above this, we will have the subscription. So which type of subscription we are going to use, that we will be having. And above this, we will have the tenants. That is nothing but the directories. So this will be like this, like first we will have the tenant or directory, then we will have subscription, then we will have the resource group, and then resources. So subscription we already created, that is a free trial one, and now we are going with the resource group. So what is a resource group? A resource group is a collection of resources that share the same life cycle, permissions, and policies. So we will be creating one resource group, so we can give it as the name as POC. So we will be now creating one POC. Okay. So here we need to fill few of the details. One is like region. So region in the sense in which region it will be hosted. This service, like the API management service, in which region it will be hosted. So you can see like in the drop down, there are many regions available. So you can select any of them. Okay. So you can select like East US or Central US or any of the whichever you are comfortable, you can use it. It does not depend on that you need to select this particular resource. So you can select East US 2. So I'm selecting the East US 2 as a region. So resource name. Resource name is like what name you want to provide this API management service. So this should be unique. So we can give API management service. If this name is available, it will be saying like tick. Otherwise, it will be showing like the specified service is already in use. Okay, somebody is already using. As this is a cloud, we need to like if you are dealing with any of the project, you need to give you as per your project naming standards. So we can give like POC, API management service. Let's check whether this is available. So this is also not available. I will give as POC test. Okay. So POC test is available. So we can use this one. Organization name, you can give anything. I will give giving CTS. Email ID, you can give test at. Once this all details are filled, subscription, resource group, region, resource name, organization details, pricing tier, then we can check for others. So if you want to enable any of the logging insights, then you can enable this loggings. Loggings are for tracking your service. So how the service is flowing. So all the details you will be seen in this log analytics. So you can check or you can check later as well. So this is a virtual network. So you can see the virtual connectivity. You can connect your API management instance either publicly via public IP address or service endpoints. So here the connectivity type can be like none, virtual or private. Any, for now we will be selecting none. Managed identity. This you can there will be managed identity which can be, for example, this management service needs to be used like what identity it should be. So then it can be a system identity or it can be a user identity. So this management service will be assigned as a resources to authenticate to cloud services. So whatever the cloud services, for example, any of the service, if you can take it. So here they have mentioned as a key vault. So key vault is also one of the resource that we will come late, that we will learn later point. So this, if this management service needs to be used in the key vault, then this management identity should be on. Like this should be checked as a tick mark. So this should be checked. Otherwise, in key vault it won't be visible. So this is managed identity. And let's come to the tags. So tags are nothing but it's a name value pairs. So that enables you to categorize resources. So if, as for example, if this management service comes under one project, so that you want to highlight it, so then we can mention in the tags like all the related projects that are there, that we can mention in one tag. So that is tags. And the other one is like last one. So it's saying like just create it. So we can click on the create. So it started the deployment. Once it is deployed, we will be able to see this Azure API management service. It will take some time for deployment. So you can click on the deployment, or else we can wait it. So once this deployment process is done, here you will be able to see. Here, once it is done, it will be shown as a green tick if it is completed successfully. It might take some time. So then our deployment is completed. It took almost half an hour to complete this deployment. So once the deployment is completed, you will able to see the tick mark over here, like your deployment is complete. You can go to the resource. Okay, these are few steps. It will show you. There is a pop-up. So this is the one which we created. So here, if you see, so here we have overview, activity logs, access management control, the tags, events, settings, APIs. Inside the APIs, we will have workspace, APIs, products, subscription, named values, backends, policy fragments. So these are all the things that we will be having in the API management service. So if you see the essentials, what it says is like, we will have the resource group. So this is the resource group that is we created as a POC. Status is online. The location is East US2 that we selected. This is a subscription key as a free trial, and this for every subscription there will be one ID that is nothing but subscription ID, or we call it as a tenant ID as well. These are the tags, and developer portal you can see here. This is a gateway URL. This is a tire which we selected as developer tire. So these are all things which we are able to see in this overview page. So the main section here, what we are going to learn is on APIs, how we can create the APIs, and yeah. So for example, what we can do is like, we can start with a simple creation of the API. So I can show you like manually how to create the API. So there are different type of APIs that we can create it or define it. So we can create the definitions by using the definitions, or we can create it manually. So this is by creating the manually. So here if you see, we have OpenAPI and Waddle, Whistle, OData, gRPC, and this graphic QL, GraphQL, WebSocket. So for example, this is nothing but, so OpenAPI is nothing but if somebody is giving you the service URL, the REST APIs of that service URL, then you can just click on it. You can provide the URL which they have given, and the display name, you can enter any display name, or you can select the file. So you can select the OpenAPI's file as well, YAML file or Swagger file, swagger.json file in the OpenAPI specification. Include query parameters, that also we can make it as a check. Display name, what name you want to give it in the API, and the name, whatever the display name you will be giving. For example, test API. So it will be used as a name. So unique name will be there for each of the APIs. Suffix URL is nothing but each API, whatever you are creating, for each API, you need to have the unique URL. So you can give test API. So this is the URL which is going to be generated when the service is created, when the API is being hosted or else. So this is a basic information that we need to provide it. In the full information, what all things we will get is like, it's the same thing, one and the same, but I'm just moving to the full section. So in the full section, you will be able to see this OpenAPI specification. So same thing, that's a URL, or you can select the file. Display name, what we have given. Description of the API, we can give any description of your project. URL scheme, you can use like HTTP. Like if you want to keep your URL as an HTTP, you can select HTTP, or you can select HTTPS, or you can select both. So any of the things it can take it. Tags. So what I meant by tags is like, so if one of the project is related to particular thing, which is going to be developed under sub projects, so then that can be provided as a tag here. And products also, it works as a same. So for example, if if there is an insurance based project and you want to give all the insurance based project under one product, then you can create a product under products, and that product will contain a unique key that can be given. So that testing part we will be coming later, but I'll try to explain you what is product. So you can club all the ones which are using the claims product in the one single product, and you can give them that URL which is being used. So you can select here any product which will be created under these products, and you can version the API. So you can version like V1, V2, any of the versions you can select over here. So here versioning scheme that can be path or any query parameter or header. So we are using path as of now. We will be selecting path. So if you are giving V1 here, in the URL, if you see the V1 will be added. Then just click on create. So now we are not using the OpenAPI as we don't have any Swagger file with us. So same goes with Waddle Whistle. So you can go and select the file of your Waddle file and fill in all the details, whatever is required, and just click on the create button. So now what I'll try to show you is like I will just create it manually. So I'll give the name like POC test, and in the web service URL you can leave empty as of now because we are not testing the actual URL, but this will be the backend URL which we are going to hit it. So whenever you have the API, so the basic fundamental of this API is like this is an top layer management which will be used to send it to the backend. So if you want to enable, like if you want to send it to XYZ backend, then you can test, like for example, I'm just using backend.com, and the suffix URL, you can give test POC. Tags, I'm not giving anything. Products, I'll create the product, and otherwise I'll give a starter product, which is by default, it will be available in the products. And gateways, you can mention version this API, you can mention V1. Path you can select, versioning scheme as I explained earlier, and just click on create. So valid URL we need it. So I'll just remove this and then I'll create it. So once this is created, you will be able to see this Weaver version. So what does that mean? Once this is created, we will have this UI. So in this, what we will be having? We will be having operations, what we need to add it, the front end of the operation. There will be policies, the backend policy, outbound processing. This everything we will be having in this session. So here in this, we will also have the settings which we have provided while creating the API. So all the details will be coming over here. Okay, the extra things, whatever is getting added is subscription. So this subscription is what for authenticating. So whenever any service is being calling our API, for example, source is calling our API, then they need to pass two things. If they are calling, the service is calling, the source is calling our API, they need to pass service URL along with the subscription key. So subscription key will be, we can select like subscription key we want to enable or disable it. Like they can pass or they cannot. If they are not passing also, it should pass through. So anything will be fine here. Once this is done, we will be using the security mode. So you can use like any of the security mode. Either it is none, OAuth or OpenID Connect. Here we will be having the logs. diagnostic logs. So we can checkbox this symbol if we want to enable the logs in application insight or locally or in the Azure monitor, we can check that symbols. So in for application insights, we will be having one more session. So how we need to check the logs and all. So that we will be looking later. So these details will be there. So if we want to test the API, so we need the operation to be created. So once this operation is created, then we can test it. So that is for testing and revisions. So here we will be having revisions. So in this session, like we can have multiple revisions. Like if you want, if there is any change in your API and you want to switch to the version 2, like the updated changes, then you can use the revision 2 changes and make it as online or current. So if that is made as a current, then you can disable this. Once you create the version of the 2, then it will be shown like you want to disable or enable this version. So these are all the things, and let's create one operation over here. So for creating the operation, you need to give the operation name. So I'll just give POC op1. Once that is given, the name also you can give, the name will be populated along with the display name. So you can select whether that method, whatever you are creating the operation, is a get, post, or put, or head, like any of the methods according to your requirements, you can select it. And then just you can give the path to that. I will be just giving the slash. So if you want to give, you can give POC1 also, and it will generate the URL basically, and the tags, whatever you want to create, and description you can give it. If this is optional, we can leave as is also. So template parameters, if you have any template parameters, you can give that parameters. Query parameters, if you have in your method that needs to be taken as a query parameters, then you can add it in the query parameters. Headers, if any headers are required, you can add any header. Like for example, if content type is needed in your application, content type is must, then you can select the content type and the value of it, and you can add it. So I will be adding any of the value content type as application/XML, for example. Okay. Then after adding this request, you can keep request here. So that as I have selected get, so I am not able to post the request. For example, if you keep it as a post, then you will be able to see like the body, what body you wanted to post it, and the representation you can add it, like what representation we can select, application XML or any of the XML that content type of this body. Response also you can add it, response like 200 okay, or any of the response you want to throw it back to the source, that also you can add it over here. So once this is created, I'll just add a headers and then I'll save it. So once this is added, once this is done, so you'll be able to see this operation over here. Okay, this is all about today's session, and in the later session we will be learning how to use the products and what are the difference between products, and how we can use that product in our API. And we will go like what is inbound processing, what is outbound processing, and what backend we will be giving, how to test it. So everything we will be looking into the next session.